Hey everyone, let's talk about something that a ton of us deal with but don't always talk about warts and skin tags. They're super common, right? But what are they, really? And more importantly, what's the safest way to get rid of them? We're going to get into all of it. You know that feeling, right? You're just going about your day and you notice a new little bump on your hand, or maybe a tiny flap of skin on your neck. And your first thought is probably, what is that? And should I be worried? The thing is, most of the time, these little growths are completely harmless from a medical standpoint. But that doesn't mean they don't affect us. They can get caught on your clothes or jewelry, which is just plain annoying, or they can make you feel a little self-conscious, especially if they're somewhere really visible. Okay, so first things first, before we can even think about removal, we've got to know what we're dealing with. Warts and skin tags might look a little similar, but they are totally different beasts with completely different causes, and that changes everything. Let's start with warts. These guys are usually small, rough little growths, and the absolute key thing you need to know about them is that they're caused by a virus, the human papillomavirus, or HPV. Now, because it's a virus, that means unfortunately they can spread, either to other parts of your own body or even to other people if you don't get them treated. And then you've got skin tags. These are a whole different story. They're soft, they're painless, and they are not caused by a virus. They usually show up in places where your skin rubs against itself, like your neck, under your arms, or on your eyelids. And here's the best part, they are not contagious at all. So let's just break it down side by side. The biggest difference really is the cause, a virus for warts versus simple friction for skin tags. And that one little detail explains everything, right? It's why warts are contagious and skin tags aren't. And honestly, you can often just tell by the texture. Warts are rough, skin tags are soft. It's a really simple way to tell them apart. All right, so you've got a better idea of what might be on your skin. The next big question is, when is it time to actually see a doctor about it? Let's walk through the signs that mean you should probably get it checked out. It's definitely time for a doctor's visit if that little growth is causing you actual problems, like if it's getting irritated, if it's bleeding, or if it hurts. Or hey, even if it's just bothering you because of how it looks. You also really want to watch for any changes. Is it growing fast? Are you getting more of them? Or did you try some over-the-counter thing and it just popped right back? Those are all clear signals. And really, the number one rule is always, if you're not sure, just get a professional to look at it. So, let's say you decide to see a doctor. What actually happens then? Let's take a look at how professionals handle this stuff. It's actually pretty amazing how effective and simple the techniques are these days. The whole process is really straightforward and honestly designed to be reassuring. It always starts with an expert assessment, just to be 100% sure what the growth is. Then, to make sure you're totally comfortable, they'll use a local anesthetic. The removal itself is done very precisely in a sterile way, and when it's all done, you'll get super clear instructions on how to take care of it so it heals up perfectly. So what's in their toolkit? Well, doctors have a few go-to methods. Cryotherapy is a big one. That's where they basically freeze the growth off with liquid nitrogen. Then there's electrocautery, which uses a very targeted heat to remove it. If a growth is a bit bigger, a simple surgical excision might be the best route. And for certain types of warts, a strong medical-grade cream is all you need. The doctor will pick the perfect method just for you. I know what you might be thinking. Can I just try one of those home remedies or kits from the drugstore? And yeah, those exist, but there are some really, really good reasons why seeing a professional is just the smarter, safer way to go. Think about it. When you go to a professional, you're being treated by a licensed physician. Everything is sterile, which massively cuts down your risk of getting an infection or a nasty scar. They use techniques that are designed to be as comfortable as possible and to give you the best cosmetic result. Plus, a lot of the time, it's a quick, same-day thing. You're in and out and back to your life. Okay, I'm sure you've got a few questions popping into your head right about now. So let's just dive in and answer the biggest ones that people usually have about getting these things removed. This is always number one on the list, isn't it? The fear of it hurting is probably the biggest thing that makes people hesitate. And look, the short answer is a very reassuring no. Your comfort is the top priority. They use local anesthesia or a numbing cream on the skin, so during the actual procedure, you feel very, very little. Right, so after the pain question, the next biggest worry is what it's going to look like afterwards. I mean, nobody wants to trade a skin tag for a big, obvious scar. And this is exactly why you go to a professional. The techniques they use are incredibly precise, and they're designed to protect all the healthy skin around the growth. When it's done right, the whole goal is for the area to heal so well that there's barely a trace left behind, if any at all. Okay, so the procedure itself is quick and it doesn't hurt. But what about afterwards? What's the recovery like?
Generally, you're looking at a pretty quick turnaround. It usually takes about a week, maybe 10 days, for the spot to heal up completely. Of course, it depends a little on how big it was and where it was located, but it's surprisingly fast.
Now, this is a really important one, especially when we're talking about warts. Because remember, that pesky virus is the root cause. And let's be real here, the honest answer is yes, they can come back. Since that virus can still be hanging around in your system, a new wart could pop up. However, professional treatment is so much more thorough than anything you can do at home, and that dramatically reduces the chance of that same wart coming back in that same spot. So when you boil it all down, it really comes to this. Seeing a professional isn't just about getting rid of a bump on your skin. It's about doing it safely, doing it effectively, and doing it in a way that gives you results that last, so you can just go back to feeling comfortable and confident. So the last question is really for you. If one of these little skin growths has been on your mind, hopefully knowing the facts helps you feel a little more in control. The only next step is deciding if it's time to take action for your own peace of mind. Thanks so much for tuning in.